Hey YouTube, I'm Andy, this is Electric Geek. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. Today we have in for review Universal Soldier on 4K Blu-ray. This video is going to mark the first of a review series that I've came up with. This is where I'm going to encourage you guys, the subscribers and the viewers, to stick down in the comments what you want to see reviewed. If you want to see 4K Blu-ray, 4K movies being streamed, PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 games, whatever it may be you want to see. If you're interested in hearing what I've got to say about it or how I would review it, then just put it down in the comments and I'll do my very best to get round to them. Once I make the video, I'll even give you a little shout out in the video itself. So today's choice, Universal Soldier, came about as a result of my good friend Scotty Monroe. He is actually my very first ever subscriber to the channel, so thanks for that, buddy. And as a wee thank you, I'm going to cover one of your favourite films because I know that you're a massive JCVD fan. I hope you enjoy, pal. This one's for you. So before we crack on with the unboxing itself, I'm just going to give you some tech specs on this new release. Resolution is in 4K and stems from a rescan of the negative, resulting in a new 4K digital intermediate. The format of the film is 240x1, which basically just means you'll have black letterbox bars at the top and bottom of your screen. Comes with a cardboard slipcover, which I always prefer when they have that. Helps protect the box a bit, it feels a bit naked without it. On the cover, you can see you've got Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. I'm not overly impressed with the artwork. Some of the older artwork, with the two of them on the front, and the kind of blue and red lighting, the close-ups of their faces, I thought would have been better. More like the steelbook that's released. But it's alright, does the job. On the back, you can see has a good handful of bonus features, notably a commentary with the director, JCVD and Dolph Lundgren, and an alternate ending, which I'll look forward to checking out. Specs wise, you can see both the 4K and the Blu-ray come with 5.1 DTS HD master audio, so no difference between the discs, and sadly no object-based Dolby Atmos or DTS-SX. HDR wise, there's nothing actually on the box, but I know because it's triggered it on my Blu-ray player that it is mastered in Dolby Vision HDR wise. It's quite annoying when they don't put it on the box. I don't know why they do that. I'm taking the slip cover off and you'll see it's just the same underneath. Exact same print as is on the slip cover. Opening up, a little leaflet from Studio Canal advertising some of their other titles. And then the discs are just the exact same. They've not bothered to change it, it's just the exact same as on the cover, as you can see. No difference between the Blu-ray and the 4K, other than the Blu-ray is on region B, so it'll just work in Europe, whereas the 4K is multi-region, can work anywhere. Let's face it, Universal Soldier is all about Jean-Claude Van Damme versus Dolph Lundgren. The Muscles from Brussels takes on the big blonde Russian for Rocky IV. Neither are terribly great actors, but like I said, that's not what we're here for. There were two massive action stars of the 90s, and you just want to see them go head to head, and the film more than delivers in that regard. It was released in 1992, and it was directed by Roland Emmerich. The premise to Universal Soldier is good. The resurrection of dead GIs from Vietnam, now turned into feel no pain, feel no fear, zombie super soldiers that'll do whatever the shady operators of the government wish them to. Only trouble is that it doesn't really have much of a plot and is probably written in the back of a fag packet. What saves the film though is its pacing, and it's basically just one massive action sequence after another. The movie absolutely ripballs along though and has quite a few memorable action sequences. Personal favourite of mine being the Hoover Dam sequence. There's just something pretty cool about that. The uniforms, the whole hostage special forces intervention scene, running face down the Hoover Dam on the zip lines. I mean, what's not to love about that? Then you've got the big massive truck chase near the end of the film, and then the satisfying, I have to say, albeit cheesy now, ridiculous showdown between GR13 and GR44. The dialogue and script in general is pretty corny, but in all honesty, that actually gives it a little bit of charm. especially when it's been delivered by JCVD or Dolph Lundgren. You can't help but laugh at some of the lines, even if you're not really supposed to. The line at the end, "You're discharged, Sarge," was one of my favourites, and it's just complete nonsense. But so is that whole fight at the end, so it's probably in keeping with it. That sequence couldn't be any more 90s if it tried. You've got the roundhouse kicks, you've got the slow motion, you've got the flames in the background, you've got the ridiculous Amazon rainfall. It's all there, but you know what? It's bloody brilliant for it. Who doesn't love a slow motion roundhouse kick from Jean-Claude Van Damme? That is just satisfying, no matter how dated the movie might be. As for performances from the cast, I thought Jean-Claude Van Damme was pretty good, to be fair. He's clearly modelled his performance on Arnold Schwarzenegger's from the Terminator series, and to be fair, as a whole, you could say the whole movie has been highly influenced by the Terminator franchise. I think he was best when he was playing it for laughs, like the diner scene where he can't seem to eat enough food and it's a bit of a novelty for him again because he's come out of his zombie-like state and he's challenged by the chef because he can't pay his bill and he starts throwing them about whilst having bits of hot dog hanging out his mouth. That's funny. Dolph Lundgren, he is just born to play a villain. He just looks menacing. He's got the physicality for it and he's clearly enjoying the role in this film, and he's good. He is frightening, he's menacing, and he does look like an evil bugger, basically. So yeah, no complaints from the lead actors anyway. All the effects are largely practical, there's next to no CGI in it, and that's something we don't see a huge amount of these days, so it's a nice throwback in that regard. But yeah, look, let's face it, this isn't a fantastic movie by any means, but I would describe it as a guilty pleasure. For that reason, I enjoyed watching it again, and it gets a thumbs up from me. So, video and audio quality wise of the 4K remaster, I must say, it is a good disc. The resolution is excellent. They've almost done away, it was shot in 35mm, but it's really difficult to see any real film grain. It's almost got a kind of digital-like look to it. It's really, really crispy for a film that was shot in 1992. So if you like that 4K crisp look, you're going to enjoy the presentation of Universal Soldier. Dolby Vision, HDR wise, it's not eye-popping, it's not going to blow you away. The remastering of the colouring is a lot better. There is some specular highlights with regards to ricochets, gunfire, explosions, but they're not eye-popping. I've seen a lot better, especially more modern films. But it definitely, combined with the 4K rescan, adds to the overall experience, and it is definitely the best way to watch Universal Soldier. So for video, I absolutely cannot fault it. Maybe a little bit unimpactful with the HDR, but that's not to say that it doesn't bring all the nuances of the colour in and make the whole presentation a lot better. So yeah, flawless transfer as far as I'm concerned. Audio wise, I thought the soundtrack was really good. I mean, the actual musical score is quite forgettable and typical of a kind of 90s action film, but all the sound effects, the atmospherics, the gunfire, the explosions, it's all what you'd expect from a DTS Master Audio 5.1 track. There's not a huge amount of dynamic movement from speaker to speaker, but they certainly use the left surround and right surround for all your usual atmospherics, you know, ricochets. Anytime there's a scene with a lot of gunfire, like the one that stands to mind is the motel scene when that gets absolutely obliterated in a hail of gunfire from all the unisols. You feel like you're in that motel. There is rounds going everywhere. You can hear the glass, the place getting tore up, bullets whizzing past from the left to the rear channels, the right to the rear channels, and it's really good. It's just what you'd expect. I will say it's somewhat flat. It's just lacking that little bit of nuance, and that's just because the sound's obviously been taken from 30 years ago, and I tend to find that's what happens with these older films. They're always a little bit front heavy, but for an older film, absolutely fine. So to recap, I thought, purely from a technical point of view, Universal Soldier, you can't really ask for much. Some people might moan that it's maybe been the digital noise reduction, they might not like that. It doesn't give it a filmic look that you'd expect from a 35mm. I kind of think that's absolutely fine in this case. It's a B-movie genre film. It's not trying to be artistic. It is what it is. Like I said, it's just two big action heroes coming together. So I don't actually mind that there isn't a huge amount of film grain there. I don't need it to feel filmic, if that makes sense. Audio-wise, yeah, so there's no Dolby Atmos or DTSX, no object-based, but you know what, it's not a massive issue, and the soundtrack's good, immersive and engaging, so it's not a big issue. So to score Universal Soldier on 4K Blu-ray, I'm going to give it a solid 3 out of 5. I've came to that score because I think the movie itself is a 2.5. Despite my feelings towards it as a guilty pleasure, it is not a fantastic film. There are better action films out there, sci-fi action films out there than this one. Not to say it's not worth a watch, it's not entertaining. But the 4K rescan, the Dolby Vision and the soundtrack are really, really good. And it's what you'd expect, and I think it's done fans of Universal Soldier proud. If you don't already have this and you're a collector of 4K Blu-rays, I don't think it's one you have to rush out and get purely because it's not a fantastic film. If you like the action sci-fi genre, or you're a big JCVD fan, a Dolph Lundgren fan, then it's an absolute must. If you already own the Blu-ray, it's a good upgrade, and if you don't have the Blu-ray, then it's a great time to jump in. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Universal Soldier on 4K Blu-ray. So if you've stayed with us to the end, thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and the review of the movie, then please hit that like button. If you want to keep up to date with what I do next, you don't want to miss out on my upcoming 4K reviews and PlayStation 5 content, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you do so, make sure you hit the little notification bell so you can keep up to date with when my latest videos are posted. Question of the day, what is your favourite JCVD movie? I'm interested to know what your favourites are. Is Universal Soldier one of them? Or is it something else? Fire it in the comments and we'll have a wee chat about it. Thanks for watching. I'm Andy, this is Electric Geek Channel, and I'll catch you in the next video.